This is the Wednesday night Mercy meeting here on Capitol Street at 7 o'clock. Our host, Perry.
Hello, welcome to the Mercy Weekly Meeting. This is a source for news and information concerning the medical cannabis issue as it unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. We have a lot of news and information for you today. First off, on the legislative side, we were fortunate enough to be able to attend hearings here these last couple of days. This morning there was a hearing on our pet bill, the one to add PTSD to the OMMP. That is Senate Bill 281. It's currently in the Judiciary Committee and will hopefully pass out of there soon and onto the Revenue Committee, where folks will have another opportunity to submit testimony and counter some of the prohibitionist nonsense that's being spouted in an attempt to shut down this very crucial, this very needed, and this very obvious bill that's happening. That is SB 281, to add post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, to the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, or OMMP as we refer to it here.
Did they try to add some stipulations to?
Yeah, that's one of the ways that they tried to shut it down to make sure it didn't happen. There is, as we understood from the hearing, there has been a -2/-3 amendments have been made. And in the -3 amendment, the prohibitionists want to force folks that take medical cannabis for their PTSD to re-register with the program every 60 days. Yes, that's right, folks, every 60 days. And if you're the least familiar with the medical marijuana program, it takes them almost that long to issue the card in the first place. And I'm certain that they, for one, would think this ridiculous, specious, and not cost-effective at all. Hopefully, this amendment will be voted down, and the bill will pass on without this heinous attachment to it. But we need to stay with it and follow it and make sure. Another prohibitionist point was that cannabis is actually more harmful to these people than PTSD, when in point of fact, cannabis, aka marijuana, has never killed anyone, whereas PTSD itself, as well as the various medications they try to give folks for them, have indeed killed a number of our service people. And so we urge you all out there, both in Channel 23 land as well as in live stream virtual land, to contact your Oregon state representatives, or contact the Oregon representatives even if you're not in the state. You can definitely contact the committee, give testimony, whether you're a resident of Oregon or not. Of course, to contact the legislators here in Oregon, and we do need to contact all of them. So we need to have everybody from all corners of the state contact the legislators to make sure they all get contacted. When you do, make sure they give a yes vote to SB 281, which is to add PTSD to the OMMP.
Without no stipulations.
As close as possible as submitted, without these amendments that's being added, which are purely to restrict and prohibit folks and to kill the bill entirely. Another point that was brought up was, or attempted to be brought up by prohibitionists, was that the cannabis is worse for folks than the PTSD because it causes brain damage and will kill people by that means, which is an absolute falsehood. as evidence of this fact, the Prohibitionists brought up a 1974 Reader's Digest story as proof. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to need to counter, and we're going to need everybody to do so, to make it happen. We're going to need you out there and you out there to contact everybody you know and get them to do so also. And stay on this bill, Senate Bill 281. Hit the committees when it's before the committee. Hit your representatives in both the House and the Senate, and make sure that they vote yes on SB 281. Yes.
How about Senate Bill 82 that we went to yesterday afternoon?
Well, Senate Bill 82 is to remove the heinous 6-month suspension for cannabis possession that is in effect here in Oregon and has been for some time. Folks, anybody actually tagged with a marijuana possession charge runs this risk, and unless they personally ask the judge for leniency in this particular case, will end up being automatically having their license suspended for 6 months, and that can be a real hardship for folks, a lot of working stiffs, particularly folks just starting off their new job. How would that be to, suddenly you can't get to work, you can't, if you use your car and you're driving, it's no good. And all because of it's marijuana. Well, now with Senate Bill 282, we can get rid of that little example of the harm and waste from cannabis prohibition. So, folks should also contact a representative on once you get a hold of them, as well as a yes on SB 281. We're looking to hopefully get a yes on SB 82, and we hope that you got something to write on, something to write with, because there's a number of bills in play in Oregon and in the United States this session, and we need everybody to get on it, to get on those so-called leaders and make sure that they vote the will of the people on these things. Yeah.
How about the SB 40, the first one that we heard at 8:30 in the morning?
Senate Bill 40 is a possession-related bill. It is to reduce the penalty, reduce the sentencing for marijuana-related offenses. Some examples is to reduce penalties for possessions from a Class B to a Class C, and so forth, for certain amounts.
Hashish.
Hashish is actually not separated yet, and there is talk of doing that, doing so at this time, as other states have done. Was suggested to do so to establish it and not allow something bad to happen, and we have to go through legislatively and change it. So, folks should be aware of Senate Bill 281, which had a hearing. Its next hearing will be before the Revenue Committee and the Oregon State Legislature. We don't have a time frame yet. Stay tuned to Channel 23 or visit our website at mercycenters.org to stay tuned to the schedule of bills. All right. right, hold on a sec here, folks. Okay, now, next set of hearings. Well, of course, there's a hearing on House Bill 2052, which is to increase marijuana diversion program fees. And we think that's a no on that because it's really just money being funneled to folks who profit from insisting that anyone on marijuana needs diversion. The important thing, though, is that on Monday, April 8th, there's going to be hearings on 3 bills that are cannabis or marijuana related. It is happening at 1 p.m. It is in hearing room E. The first bill is HB 3055, which imposes restrictions on issuance of marijuana grow site registration cards under the Oregon Medical Marijuana Act. I'm not sure what the restriction is. It's probably a negative one. We'll have to look that one up, folks. To do so, we just hop on over to our website, mercycenters.org. We click on the little legislation tag, and there it pops up, the legislation station. And it usually has a list of bills there. We need to kind of like update it there. So we'll hop back over here. Now, you may be asking, how do I contact my legislator? Heck, I don't even know who my legislator is. Well, you can go to mercycenters.org, click on the links and find out who. You could even just send them an email right from there. Another way is to come into the Mercy Center. We'll help you look that information up, give you the phone number, and make the call. Also, keep you posted on legislative hearing sessions or times when the legislators are there. Stopping by and making a visit by the office has a lot more impact than the email or even a phone call. So, we go to our mercycenters.org website, we go to the legislative page, we end up on the current session web page. And we click on the tab that says 3055, HB 3055. And that reduces the cards per residence to 3 and establishes a fee for the required criminal records check. So, it's going to reduce the number of folks that can be at any particular residence to 3. I know that a card, a grower can only have 4 patients, but that several growers can be at a garden, and so you can have more than 3 cards per per address, per residence. So I think this is an attempt to restrict garden sizes, and again, it's just something law enforcement wants because they hate it in general, and any efficient economic way of growing it they especially hate. So folks should say no on 3055, and you can attend the hearing on Monday to do so. That's 1 p.m. hearing room E at the Capitol, Salem, Oregon. We can talk about HB 3055, but also HB 3460, which directs the Oregon Health Authority to establish registration system for medical marijuana facilities for transferring usable marijuana from registry identification card holders, designated primary caregivers of registry identification card holders, or the marijuana grow site grower from all of those folks, and basically a card holder, any card holder, can transfer medicine to the medical marijuana facilities and can get them from them. So cardholders with excess medicine can go to a facility, sell it, likewise can go there and purchase it.
So they're making dispensaries illegal with this one?
That is what it is implying. The first read of it, I believe, was that growers were going to be able to be compensated for their labor. But there is some language there for a facility, an entity other than a person, to be the one accepting the excess medicine and holding it out and then dispensing it. In addition to HB 3460, which we just talked about, is HB 2919, which exempts from criminal offenses in which possessing, delivering, or manufacturing marijuana is an element. Persons who perform certain services related to administration of medical marijuana or who research marijuana for medical purposes, which is a long way of saying a dispensary. They probably have different sets of rules about who can set it up, who can utilize it. I think it's good that we have two potential dispensary bills. An ideal situation would be that the best of both of them is combined into one bill somewhere down the road. That isn't going to happen unless we, the people, make it happen. You'll need to get involved, whether contacting the committees or, at the very least, contacting your representatives in both the House and Senate and make sure they vote yes on the bills that they should and no on the ones where they shouldn't. And educate yourself on what those are. To help you out and get ready to write this down, because I know you went and got that stuff like we told you to write it all down with. But that's a yes on SB Senate Bill 281. That's a yes on SB 80, SB 40.
That was 82.
82, thank you. That's a no on HB 2052. That's a no on HB 3055. And a yes on HB 3460 and 2919. Of course, we haven't talked much about the big one. Dun dun dun. That is legalization, of which there was a hearing on Tuesday concerning that. Funny, we didn't get the brain damage scam at that time. And we'll talk more about that here later on. But indeed, we had a legalization bill that had a hearing. I believe it's going to go through Judiciary to the Revenue Committee. Was it going to pass, or do you know if it was going to pass?
I believe they were going to work on it some more.
Work on it some more. So we'll let folks know if and when there's another opportunity to for public testimony. In the meantime, folks can contact the Judiciary Committee on House Bill 3371 to legalize and basically make it medical for everyone here in Oregon, like they have done in Washington and Colorado here just recently.
In a couple of days, you can watch these hearings on Channel 23 and possibly on the internet.
So stay tuned, folks. Again, stop at bookmark the website, mercycenters.org, in particular our Mercy TV webpage. And so when those are available, you can link right there, see the latest, and click on the links to go to our YouTube library, which contains most of our video archive. Many thanks to the folks at CCTV for not just helping us produce it, but helping us getting it up to the web there. So folks, not just our live stream account or way to see us, but also there with the YouTube, with not only legislative hearings, OMP meetings, special interviews, pretty much anything of relation. So, we hope you haven't run out of paper to write on, space there. There's going to be some more. There's a total of 30 bills in play. There's probably more by now at the last count. 30 plus bills in play here in Oregon concerning cannabis, aka marijuana, or its derivative forms, i.e. hashish, things of that nature. We'll keep folks tabbed on them, especially where there's some action needed. But one thing you can do here and now, and one thing that's going to be needed to be done in all cases, and that's you need to contact your legislators in both the State House and State Senate and get them to vote appropriately on these bills that are for cannabis law reform and against the ones that are for cannabis prohibition here in the state. And then you need to do the same with your federal representatives. And to see the list of bills in particular, check out mercycenters.org. Then, and in some cases just as important, tell everybody you know, because it's a numbers game, and we've got to get everybody in on this, acting in on it. A lot of folks are going to fall by the wayside. Not as many people as will. So as many people as can have got to push it as long and hard as they can. Because only by doing so, only by the grassroots effort of we the people, is this going to change, both at the local levels as well as the federal. So, contact your federal representatives, both House and Senate, and get them to sign on as co-sponsors if possible, if not at least a yes vote on these bills. There is one to legalize cannabis and regulate sales at the federal level. It's introduced by Representative Jared Polis, and our own Representative Earl Blumenauer is going to put forth a corresponding bill to establish a federal tax structure for retail cannabis production and sales. When residents of Colorado and Washington voted to end their state's prohibition on marijuana last November, it was a watershed moment for our nation's move towards sane marijuana laws, said NORML Communications Director Eric Altieri, who will be speaking at teleconference here. But there remains a lingering conflict between state and federal law. These historic measures seek to resolve this conflict and empower states to dictate their own marijuana policies without fear of incursion. NORML would like to thank the congressmen for taking this brave step forward and encourages their colleagues in Congress to join them in calling for sensible marijuana law reform. They need you to help make that happen. They need you to give them the leverage, the ammunition to do so. It's a lot different for them to try to do so of their own conscience, as opposed to saying they've got a half dozen or more of their constituents insisting that this be done. You give them legs, you empower them. In some cases you nag and goad them, but however it gets done, it's good. Also, while we're at it, we have industrial hemp farming legislation reintroduced in the U.S. Congress by Congressman Thomas Massie, Republican of Kentucky. and 28 co-sponsors, including House Agriculture Committee Ranking Member Colin Peterson, Democrat, Minnesota, have reintroduced this legislation in Congress that requires the federal government to respect states' laws allowing the cultivation of industrial hemp. They have a industrial hemp law here in Oregon, but due to the federal supremacy, it has not been enacted upon. Hemp is a distinct variety of the plant species Cannabis sativa that contains only trace, that is, less than 1%, amounts of tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, the primary psychoactive compound in cannabis. House Bill 525, the Industrial Hemp Farming Act of 2013, amends the Controlled Substances Act to exclude industrial hemp from the definition of marijuana. The measure grants state legislatures the authority to license and regulate the commercial production of hemp as an industrial and agricultural commodity. 8 states, Colorado, Maine, Montana, North Dakota, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, and West Virginia, have enacted statutory changes defining industrial hemp as a distinct agricultural product and allowing for its regulated commercial production. And passage of H.R. 525 would remove existing federal barriers and allow these states and others the authority to do so without running afoul of federal anti-drug laws.
At one time, our forefathers had to have acres of hemp to supply the Navy and the shipping and the clothing.
Also, in Nevada, a bill to allow for a medical marijuana dispensary is introduced. As well as, in Nevada, lawmakers introduced a bill to legalize and regulate. So a legalization effort happening there as well as dispensaries. Happening in Nevada also. There's happening in a couple of states across the nation. We'll try to keep tabs on them and point out ways for folks to support them remotely, as well as any tips, tools, and tricks, anything statutory or otherwise, that we can learn from these other efforts here across the United States concerning medical cannabis or marijuana. And indeed, not just here in the United States, but across the world. We have a number of requests involving help getting their card or finding medicine in the short term, or even starting up a medical cannabis facility like us. We've gotten these contacts from Vietnam and Cambodia and from Europe, where there's a special circumstance such that European Union laws, in theory, would apply across the European Union. So folks who go to the Netherlands and get their card or medical cannabis authorization, in theory, should be able to use their card throughout Europe. This is certainly true for Nederlanders in other countries. But so far as we know, that's just applies to the Nederlanders in other countries. And a citizen from the UK can't go to the Netherlands, get their card in the Netherlands, and then consume cannabis in the UK, as far as we know. That comes from the folks at UK Normal, or their national organization for the reform of marijuana laws. But at the same time, there's a chap in Italy who insists he's done just that. He's got his card from the Netherlands. He keeps it within the limits of that's posted in the Netherlands, and in theory, he's been okay in Italy. Difference, though, between UK and Italy is that Italy does have a program where they're testing folks for the medical cannabis. It's a limited program. It's not the same as here in Oregon, where folks join up, get their card, go get medicine, travel around with it, or allowed to even grow and stuff. But a medical program that folks go there and take their sample and report on the test results. I don't know that they're allowed to take any home from the program, things like that. Also, we were communication, a gal that is from Norway, went to the Netherlands, currently lives in the Netherlands, has her card, but is not sure about going back to Norway. Will her card be respected there? We're honestly not certain, so we're hopefully putting feelers out to the Norwegian Attorney General's office, as well as any normal attorneys in Norway, and trying to find out. As soon as we do, we'll let folks know. An important little item there happening in Europe concerning medical cannabis laws. Is there a card that covers you throughout Europe? Not yet. At least we don't think so. But apparently it's being worked on. Also in Asia, Africa, South America, throughout the world, the issue is coming up. It's becoming a matter of people gathering and organizing. Czechoslovakia just recently okayed medical cannabis there in that country, joining I believe Germany, Italy, Spain, that has some kind of medical cannabis program or law. Of course, the buzz of the medical cannabis world is there in Israel, where they have a program that one time they gave medical cannabis to their troops, to soldiers, specifically for the PTSD. Something that we tried to point out to the legislators when they were hearing on the Senate Bill 281 that's here in Oregon to add PTSD to the OMMP. Another interesting point about the Israeli medical marijuana program is that the grower, there's one facility that, or a small group of facilities that grow it for the government, and the government hands it out to their patient community. They recently reported to be working on a variety of THC of cannabis, medical cannabis, that's very low. It has almost no THC, but it's very high in the cannabinoids, cannabinoids, terpenes, and other of the elements which they perceive as having the most medical value. And so Israel is taking the lead in developing highless medical marijuana. And I'm sure that more research will be done, and they'll find out that certain strains which have certain cannabinoids are better for certain conditions and so forth. And real progress will be made there. Unfortunately, that progress should be made here in the U.S. and won't be unless we take our country back. And the perfect litmus test, the best way to do it, is through the medical cannabis issue. As we saw in these hearings we were at here the past couple of days, is a surefire way to identify these the opposition, the prohibitionists, who we want to de-elect and otherwise disempower the next chance we get. We want to take names and kick their asses right out of office, really. Yes, on this basis, on their basis for their support or lack thereof for the medical cannabis issue, particularly when it comes to adding things like PTSD to the medical marijuana program here in Oregon. As we said, a no-brainer and an excellent way to judge if your legislator is a prohibitionist and should be retired or not, and is somebody who is actually a leader doing the right things in the governance and maintenance and management of your state, or if it's you're banging away at your federal representatives in the federal level there. But these folks aren't going to know what you want them to do unless you contact them, unless you communicate with them. And as we said, it's a numbers game, so we need you to get everybody you know to do so also. And get them to do so also. And get this whole chain reaction, or chain action, as the case may be, really. And then we'll see real positive things happen here. We'll see that this PTSD is at it. We'll see that the process gets altered, so it's not such a legislative bill each time. We want to recognize cannabis as medicine, and how, and in a particular way. I mean, it should be medicine across the board, period. And each and every time we have to reprove that, have to deal with that same old reefer madness nonsense again and again. And yeah, like we said, we saw that earlier here in the hearing session. One of the prohibitionists brought out that, or tried to bring out, that cannabis causes brain damage, that it kills you by killing your brain, that it kills your sex organs, was another item, although what that has to do with adding PTSD to the program, we're not certain. Well, although I guess their point was that marijuana is evil and dangerous and kills. And as evidence of their of this fact that marijuana kills by killing the brain, they brought up a 1974 Reader's Digest story on that fact. And well, I must admit I had mixed feelings about that, because I recognized it. I'm quite familiar with that story and the background to it, and more important, the foreground. You know, what happened. You know, what, not just what led up to it, but what happened after the fact. And the marijuana kills brain cells, and thereby killing the brain owner myth came about from a study that was done in the early 70s, where a chamber was filled with completely full of marijuana smoke. They put some monkeys in, and then they fill it with cannabis smoke. And then they cut open their poor little heads and showed you these brains. See, this is the brain on marijuana. Overdosing on marijuana, no less, because that was their attempt, was to get these monkeys to overdose, consume enough to cause these horrible effects that they predicted, that they kept saying that cannabis does. So they probably took these brain-damaged monkeys that they produced and showed them all over the place. And this is the basis for your brain on drugs commercials that many of you may recognize as the backbone of the DARE program and Partnership for Drug-Free America and all these other things. The unfortunate thing is that those were not, in fact, pictures of your brain on drugs, but pictures of, or monkeys' brains on drugs, but rather pictures of a brain on suffocation, actually. It turns out that the effect that the monkeys suffered through and was recorded in their brains upon later examination was the act of suffocation itself. When the experiment was repeated, simply withdrawing the air from the chamber, and their heads were cut open, examined again, the same thing, they got the same results as if they filled the chamber with marijuana smoke. So they knew then that that was the case. Unfortunately, the story, the follow-up story, showing how that the claims were misrepresented, never got the same press as the original dead monkey story there, brain dead monkey story. So now, whenever you hear a prohibitionist, whether they're draped as a legislator, they're a police official, or some supposed representative of our government leadership, talk about how marijuana kills, how marijuana causes brain damage, and things of that nature, that's the study, that's the incident, the proof, that's what they're basing that statement on. And it has been proven, again, as we said, absolutely false a number of times, but it's going to be up to you folks to take it and show that to legislators who attempt to use that little bit of reefer madness to continue cannabis prohibition and all of its nasty harms on this, our American society. And again, talk to your federal representatives, talk to folks in other states, what they got going there, what can happen, how folks, everybody should talk to their federal reps all over the country on these federal bills that are happening. So wherever your friends and family live, give them a call on the phone, send them an email. Let's all of we the people get together and make this happen. Not just for us, but for our kids, for our children's children. Okay. Get all the links up there. Again, to our website. And events, any other action items. Some of the folks will be coming up on trial, the raids that we've had recently. I spoke with some of the folks here at the legislative hearings. There were some raids done in Southern Oregon. There were some raids up in Washington County. The Human Collective was one of them, and currently the authorities are letting these people twist slowly in the wind while they do nothing. They haven't been indicted, they haven't been officially charged, there's no court dates for us to attend, but when we do, we'll want to again contact you folks there and let you know. We want to fill these courtrooms of these folks that are being tried, and also want to write to prisoners too. Let folks know they're there. Write to the president. Try to get an amnesty, particularly for folks serving these life sentences, or folks like our own Kevin Metcalf, caught up in extenuating circumstances because of his medical cannabis, because of the bias against it, really, too, if truth be told. Well, we're getting a number of hits on our web pages here. It looks like concerning the bills. That's good. Folks need to contact their legislators by one means or another. Then they need to contact everybody they know and spread the word. Then they need to contact everybody they don't know yet and spread the word. Go out to news stories, bulletin boards. Any place electronically that you might be able to post it. Also, you can come on down to the Mercy Center, scoop up a bunch of Oregon Cannabis Connections or the Mercy News Report or whatever we've got here, and take them, handing them about in your area there. Coffee shops, your doctor's office, I mean any place where the magazine might be picked up there. But it's up to you to get that word out. In there are not just more of the information on the legislative items, including talking points, other things to call up people on, but there's a list of resources here in the state of Oregon. There's resource centers like Mercy, help folks with getting medicine and all of those things. There's also places that have medical cannabis delivery devices, in terms of water pipes, or commonly referred to in the vernacular as bongs, also vaporizers, other information on and places to go get the resources for this. In addition, there's recipes, ways and means to make the medibles and other cannabis infused I would say products was the one word we could use, but medicine would be the, I guess, proper term there. You're not producing it like an industry so much, although we shall soon have standards in the same token. Great day that will be. So we have talked some about the legislative things here, which is what we do. Our primary thing, of course, is helping folks to get their card, whether here in Oregon or elsewhere in the 18 or so states in the U.S., or with the various countries around the world where medical cannabis is recognized as the safe, effective medicine that it is. We also help folks with the short-term issues of finding medicine now with the dispensaries if they're a viable option in the region, the area that you're at. And getting to grow yourself, again, if that's an option in your area. Or folks are going to find a grower if necessary. And that's one of the things we do.
Unless your classes.
Going through all the, hi guys, have a seat. Don't worry, you're not on camera yourselves. But we are live streaming it and recording it, so don't blurt out any information you don't want broadcast there. But good, man. It gives us an opportunity
This evening?
to ask our audience here. What's your issues? You guys, your card holders or?
Yeah.
Okay. So how's your garden?
Good.
Okay.
We were told to come check it out. Say hey, pretty much.
Okay. So you don't need any resources for them, or don't have any issues with it?
Can you handle patients?
What's that?
Can you handle 2 or 3 patients, or even 1?
No.
Good. Well, just take care of yourselves. So no mites, no molds, no.
Haven't quite got it set up yet.
Oh.
In the process.
Okay. So the honeymoon's still on there.
Well, we do need clothes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you definitely come to the right place.
To get clothes.
Yeah, it's a.
We do have some, I believe, still.
I don't know. Somebody brought in some earlier, but folks were on them like piranha on blood there. So I don't know how many are left now, but we can get on the list for next week. So next Wednesday, there's a good chance there will be some here. You can certainly talk with folks that do that kind of thing frequently, just out of networking. So it's not like they hold you up somewhere there too down the line.
And how many do you need at this time if we can get it?
6.
Yeah.
Just 6 of them.
Just 6.
Sounds like a good grower to me.
Yeah, I mean nothing too big. Just to
Or is this
support
going to be inside or outside?
Inside.
Okay. Well, you can get up to 18 babies which are under 8 inches, no, 12 inches round. But do you know how to make babies?
How to close?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 6 you can make what your clones off of those if you like them.
Yeah, I'll probably make one of those my mama's.
Well, good. You'll have a chance to talk with folks here about your particular situation, if you're doing indoor, outdoor, and pros and cons and things there. And so, excellent. We can both benefit, I think, from the exchange. We can help the next person in line, and as we say, if there's opportunity down the road, you've got some extra clones or something, you get some room or something like that, or just another meeting, somebody else that's looking to get set up and started and doesn't have a clue, doesn't even know if it's possible and feasible,
Right.
So that would really help them too. So
Right.
hopefully you'll get enough here to make it worthwhile and can pay it back, pay it forward, and then who knows? Somewhere down the road, you're in need and help, and boom, we can help again, and so forth. Keep going. But that's certainly
All right.
the way we do it.
Sounds pretty cool.
We're a teach to fish philosophy as opposed to fishing for folks. So like in thoughts of the Uber garden versus a whole bunch of gardens networked together, you know, that's kind of our philosophy and mentality. So,
All right.
a lot of independence, self-sufficiency, networking. Help, you know, it's helping that. That's how we existed this long and stayed together, was by doing so.
So what stage are you in making your room? You got your table, you got your lights, you got your electricity and ventilation.
We're gonna need a filter. We gotta build our little box.
Come on in.
Hello. I've been lost. I've been looking for you guys.
Well,
I've
here we are.
driven past you like 20 times.
Grab a seat now.
All right. Hi.
Well, glad you made it.
Nice to see you. Oh, thank you. I was gonna bring my sister, who's the one that's qualified for the card, but we got our information crossed, so I was at the wrong location. I picked her up in the wrong spot, so she wasn't there.
Oh, well, I hope you guys hook up at some point here along the way then.
Well, we should hook up. So I told her, well, I'll go by myself anyway, just to be on time.
Okay. And you're just looking to network for some medicine, or did you look for a grower, or all of it?
Here's
or
the thing, we have everything approved. So we have the letter. And so I'm the caregiver. And my sister's the one who's qualified recipient.
So you just received your card.
That's the card thingy in there again. Okay. Yep, there she is.
Yes.
Excellent. You're a fortunate person. Sometimes they get lost in the mail, or it takes a way long
Oh,
frequent
it took us
times.
forever, trust me. We kept calling on, we've been doing this since December.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the information, guys.
Okay, yeah, well,
Do you want-
second next door at the office there, that's where the Growmeisters are currently. If there's any babies there, they'll be
Okay.
there, and if not, you can, we got a little board there too, so say, need babies,
Okay.
you know, kind of a thing, or
All
just
right.
chat with the folks, really.
Do you have a Diamond connection?
Oh, we got one of those at our doctor's visit. Same
Right on.
issue too.
Cool. All right,
Thank you.
see you guys later.
Thank you.
Uh,
Happy growing.
Thanks.
and so you guys just got with the program then here relatively recently. Were you going to garden yourself, or?
I'm supposed to be the grower,
Right.
but I don't know.
Do you have this?
I don't want to be the grower for a lot of reasons. I'm a real estate broker,
Uh-huh.
and I don't want that in my house because I never know who might come.
No.
I have office in the home. And so I was telling my sister, I said, you know, I think we better get somebody else. I can be your caregiver, but I'd rather have someone grow it for you,
Okay.
and then I can help you, but I don't want to.
So you definitely need the grow site somewhere else, and if possible, to have a grower, gardener to take care of it as well, to be primarily responsible then. So you don't really have you would need growing or gardening expertise too if
Yeah,
you
I
need
could
it.
probably grow a couple of plants temporarily while we find someone, so that she can have a supply,
Right.
but I don't want to do it too long.
Yeah, once they got noticeable.
Yeah, well, and, you know, I just don't want anybody
You're
thinking
looking
that.
at outside too. You don't want to set up lights and a filter.
Oh, no, I don't want to go through all that, plus I just don't want to have anyone think that they can come in and steal the plants.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is what can happen when folks become aware that
Exactly.
a garden is up. So probably the networking medicine in the short term and trying to find a grower for you.
Exactly, so if you could tell me how to go about this, how to do it, how to get her supply, or how to do something.
Right.
And then in the meantime, maybe you can recommend a grower that you believe is, you know, recommendable and all that.
Yeah. So we'll direct you to the website with our list of forums, So folks, you can go up there and go over talk about these same things. And for us, it's these weekly meetings.
Yeah, right.
You know, this one, there's not a lot of folks here, but we'll keep putting the word out. Now we can get the information, we can post it on our board there, and on our online boards too, and improve our odds. So those are the things as far as looking for that grower long term. In the short term, it's a matter of networking. There's no dispensaries, legal dispensaries.
Right.
There's a lot of places that operate in much the same manner. You're going to part with some monies, you're going to end up with some medicines. The quantity and quality, unfortunately, vary. And they're not even consistent from visit to visit from what we're able to find out from folks.
Right.
We're a cooperative. We're a group of card holders that from some of us actually worked on getting signatures and getting the law in the first place. And then when it was implemented, whereas in much the same boat as everybody else, there's no means, there's no legal means to buy, sell, trade these resources. It gets very tricky getting the resources of the people that need it and the funding to the people who produce the resources are able to make them happen. So ours has always been a networking thing. We individually and as a group help out folks as much as we can and try to get as much help as we can to keep doing it. So folks here will help you with medicine. They'll help you with try and get the medicine as tuned to your patient's condition and situation as much as possible. For example, certain conditions can be treated with the medicine in a topical manner. Some are better off with medibles, and some can work with smoke and so forth. That's about all the time we have for our Channel 23 broadcast. We'll stay on our live stream here, and we'll keep chatting with folks here in the meantime. So catch us on mercycenters.org/TV. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.